Like many of you here, I hate being inconsistent in certain things too. And so apologies for changing the backdrop yet again. But on the bright side, I'm working on the studio, getting a little makeover, which means better videos. It's gonna take some time because just like this plant, it needs proper care and support for it to grow, turn into a big tree, just like me. So I want you guys to show your support by giving a thumbs up for this video. I bought the plant just so that I could make that statement. Alright, jokes apart, this video is a good one because this is some information that I wish I received much earlier. Because in the long run, this is more of a discipline exercise, among other things, rather than just a technical know-how. And I am talking about organization and management of your video project files for post-production. This includes how to segregate your folders, managing music and audio, sorting footages, labeling, collection, etc. Considering everything is shot and ready for post-production, you'll need folders, obviously. So the best practice is to classify each and every element that goes into your project and make suitable folders for it. So what I personally do is I make 4 folders, the primary being footages, assets, audio, and tracks. This tip goes for the folders that you make on your PC and inside your editing application as well. There are a couple of cases that we might come across here. You may either shoot for a single day or you might take multiple days of shoot while using a single camera or multiple cameras, all the while filling up multiple SD cards. So handling this becomes a little chaotic. So I use a system where my primary folders are day 1, day 2, day 3 and so on. And each of these folders have my camera models, for example Sony, Nikon, DJI, and then these folders further have all the SD cards filled up, card 1, card 2, etc. Now the order of this could be something else. For example, the models could take the first folder, for example Nikon, and then the days, and then the cards. The order of it doesn't really matter as long as you get a suitable structure that you can work with. This is a very good practice because in the long run you will maintain a system that is common to all your projects, and if you're working with team members, it's going to be so much more easier because there's a standard to work with. My second folder is the assets folder. So I use this for everything visual related. It could be letterboxes, light leaks, lens flares, overlays, grains, stock footages, all that good stuff. There is also a very important perk that comes with this, which I will talk about a bit later. Audio and tracks. Now this is a very personal choice, but I always like to keep 2 separate folders for my music and my sound effects, because whenever I work on a project, more than often I use 1 or more tracks, and each of these tracks would have something called as a stem, a subgroup of music that contains only the bass or the instruments or the melodies, which in my opinion opens up a completely new avenue of editing techniques. And the audio folder would just contain all my sound effects that I'll be using, but make note, these folders did not contain anything in them because it usually gets filled up as you start progressing with your work and your project, because you keep sourcing for new sound effects or overlays and stuff. Once all this is set up on your PC, it's just a simple drag and drop into your editing application and you're good to go. I use Premiere, but the process is the same for almost every other application out there. For a long time, my editing process was very casual and inconsistent, and the biggest drawback of this was loss of work. So let's say you have this interesting sound effect that you've used in one of your projects, or an overlay that made the transition so much better, but because of the heap of work you just lost it, and you wouldn't even realize it. But the best part about this system is you can always make a repository of the collected assets and use it for your future projects. I've done this since I think it's been a year now, and that is how I was able to bring out the sound pack, because these are all the stuff that I've used in the past, collected and stored in my hard disk. And the last bit of advice is labeling. Now labeling is such an underrated tool for editors. I must say I just started using it very recently, and yeah, I forget to use it sometimes as well, but it's okay because I think with regular practice your work gets much more efficient, because the idea is to color code each element of your timeline into something that you can recognize, so differentiating between different elements gets so much more easier. Let's say you've just shot an interview with 2 different camera angles, one's a wide or something like that. Now color coding it or labeling it makes it so much easier for you to recognize which footage you're working with. That way editing becomes so much more faster. Labels have so many other uses that I've yet to explore, and I think I'll make something once I have a certain amount of information about it. That's it for today's video, guys. Keep me updated on how it goes. I'm active on Instagram. Consider subscribing if you're new here. I'd also appreciate it if you could leave a comment or post a question, because that could be the next video. Thanks for watching, and until next time,